This week, breaking news. The president of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi's helicopter went down in a cloud of fog into an unreachable forest with him in it. One Telegram blogger made a helicopter joke, insinuating the Mossad was responsible, calling the agent helicopter. Within hours, news outlets around the world began spreading the story as if it were fact. Helicopter, the Mossad agent, is responsible for Raisi's death. Today, this is how easy it is to turn fake news into real news. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is My State, a program about current events, my belief in God, and my journey in the Holy Land. And this is Israel's National Library, the original and traditional hard drive of knowledge and information. The entire world is hooked on media outlets. We're living in a time where news travels faster than wildfire. However, truth is being lost in the flames. Going back to the beginning of this war, more than 1,400 Israelis were brutally tortured and murdered in the abominable terrorist attack by Hamas and the battles that followed. And the current global narrative supports the monsters who perpetrated all of this. How is all this possible? Because in this war, there is another less talked about, yet no less potent battlefield that is taking place, and it's taking place in the digital space. In the first days after the 7th of October, under the shock of the scale of the invasion, the violence, the murder, the kidnappings, the acts of unimaginable sexual attacks against women, it seems that the whole world finally knew about the cruelty and hatred of Hamas towards us. At first, there was some empathy from world leaders who supported us. But then, the unexpected happened. A huge wave of anti-Semitism, the likes of which we have not seen since World War II. It started on social media and quickly spread to hundreds and thousands of violent incidents against Jews and Israelis around the world. Social media networks are faced with a constant stream of disinformation, fake news, conspiracy theories, and horror videos. This chaos causes concern in Israel and throughout the democratic world. So please take an active part in spreading the truth with us. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and share our videos with anyone who seeks to know the truth. It's super important for the world to know what really is happening in Israel. What happened on the 7th of October in Israel is an unprecedented event in the history of mankind, not because of the scope of the unimaginable things that Hamas did to the Israeli civilians. The history of human race is littered with acts of human atrocity, like the Holocaust, the massacre of the Rohingya in Myanmar, acts of mass murder in Africa and Ukraine, the diabolical violence of ISIS, and the 9/11 disasters. The 7th of October is a historical turning point because of a second terrorist attack launched at the same time as the violent attack by the Hamas terrorists, an attack that in the first weeks remained almost unanswered. Hamas proudly recorded and uploaded their horrific acts on social media for the whole world to see. One of the stories that caught my eye was that the Hamas terrorists broadcast the murder on Bracha Levinson's Facebook feed while they were murdering her. Her granddaughter, who was an exchange student in Japan, saw it first. This is how the family in Israel found out that grandma was murdered. The sights of horror that will never be able to erase from their memory. The systematic uploading of the horror videos on Telegram, the live broadcasts on Facebook, the documentation of the atrocities on GoPro cameras, and their distribution to the victims' social media networks via their phones, sometimes after diabolical editing that combined photos on their phone with the moments of the murder, were planned and orchestrated in advance and backed up by a sophisticated editing and expensive distribution system. The power of this tool is stronger than the power of a rifle. This was the first wave of Hamas online attack, the visible wave. It was followed by another attack, carefully planned and financed with huge sums, which was intended to provoke at once a huge wave of protests against Israel and against Jews all over the world. How is it possible that they so openly posted their horrific acts for all to see, and yet the world is chanting, "Go Hamas, we're behind you all the way"? After October 7, Israel justly declared war on Hamas and went into Gaza to destroy the inhumane terrorist organization. In truth, according to Newsweek, Israel has implemented more measures to prevent civilian casualties than any other nation in history. But too many people around the world believe that Israel is the monster and Hamas the victim. There are, of course, many explanations for this shift in public opinion, and among prominent leaders, one of them is related to what is broadcasted in the global media and the various networks. Here, alongside reliable and legitimate reports, an entire industry of disinformation that works against Israel, especially on social media networks, was manifested. What happened here is that a huge campaign started against us on the 7th of October, when our people were still being massacred. This campaign involved the utilization of precise targeting tools of social media networks to rapidly agitate large audiences in various locations with the help of personalized propaganda. The propaganda was spread with the help of a huge army of bots, avatars, and sock puppets, the hidden warriors of social media networks. Bot is a profile on social media networks that is operated by computerized means, often from cyber farms with thousands of cell phones in India. Avatars are already a more expensive thing. Fake characters that are not activated by a computer, but by humans. Let's describe them like a sock puppet. Really a fiction character with a convincing past and a history on the web, who can act over a period of time in a way that seems completely legitimate. For example, such a sock puppet is created to integrate into groups of climate activists on the net and establish a status and name as someone who uploads interesting content and expresses interesting opinions on issues that the other members of the group deal with on a daily basis. When one day the sock puppet is shocked by what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians, or starts uploading more and more videos that speak exactly to the language of the group and the activists and prove that Israel is lying and that the Hamas people did not murder all people and children and did not do terrible things to women. The community members listen. They already trust the speaker and are convinced that she or he is one of them. When tens of thousands of sock puppets, avatars, and bots start attacking Israel, Zionism, and the Jews at once, they quickly sweep millions after them, most of whom have not delved into the subject before, do not fully understand it, but connect to the general mindset in their environment without knowing that this mindset was carefully engineered. Black Lives Matter activists who are angry about the oppression of blacks by whites were flooded with messages and videos that presented Israel as a white country that oppresses black natives. Climate activists who are anxious for the future of the planet are targeted with messages about Israel as a colonialist power that is destroying the regional space. Activists who are disturbed by the inequality in the world were attacked in a campaign against Israel as a capitalistic power that tramples the poor. All of these stories are, of course, a complete bluff and examples of disinformation, lies designed to mislead. Such stories are spread around the world in increasingly sophisticated campaigns using artificial intelligence tools and social networks that distribute images, videos, and audio. In a year when half of the world's population goes to the polls, these heightened fears that technology will make the fight against disinformation impossible and that it will subvert democracy in a destructive way. To what extent is there room for concern? By the way, I'm sitting here in the TBN Israel podcast studio. We air a podcast every Thursday on TBN Israel on the YouTube channel. So please subscribe and join Mati Shoshani and myself, Yair Pinto, every week to dive deeper into the topics. I must say that political lies have existed for hundreds of years. But as we know, the internet has greatly worsened the problem. Artificial intelligence makes their production very cheap, and I have where to point an accusing finger at. The money trail always leads to Iran and enemy countries such as Qatar and others trying to deepen and worsen the rift against Israel through armies of bots that echo political messages around the world and change public opinion in favor of Hamas, a terrorist organization. The dangers of disinformation must be taken seriously and studied carefully, because currently there is no solution to stop it. For now, we will pray that the lies do not win. Throughout history, there have been those who lied, manipulated, and brainwashed the public to gain power, but were eventually discovered and dealt with. The disinformation is certainly taking a new and sophisticated form, but it has not yet proven itself to be an unprecedented and unanswerable threat. I want to end off with a recent revelation that perhaps summed this whole story up. Last week, the United Nations finally admitted that the Gaza death toll, which was given throughout the war by the Hamas-run Ministry of Health in Gaza, was wrong. Almost 50% less women and children were killed than previously reported. That's a huge difference. Israel has repeatedly said that the numbers coming out of Gaza are being manipulated by Hamas and don't reflect the reality on the ground. Imagine how different the world's opinion would have been had the truth been told from the beginning. The truth of how careful the IDF has been when fighting a war against an enemy entrenched within a civilian population. The truth about the values of the Israeli nation. But as the words of the Bible say in Proverbs 12:19, truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. So let's all unite in prayer for the truth to come out from Israel and reach the ends of the earth. This is very important because Israel is fighting a battle on multiple fronts. And sadly, we are losing the front for people's mind, for the truth. So we need your help in sharing what is happening in Israel so that all of us will know how to pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.